Hello and good evening. You're watching News Tonight on RajyaSabha with the host Project Kane. Now, before we go to the headlines, here is a small appeal by RajyaSabha to all its viewers. Stay safe from the COVID-19 pandemic. Wear face masks, wash hands and face regularly and maintain physical distancing while stepping outside. Remember, these small precautions are all that it takes to defeat the pandemic. Well, now let's go off to the headlines on what happened throughout the day. In a first for an Arab nation, Saudi Arabia hosts G20 summit. Prime Minister Modi takes part in two-day virtual event. Deliberations to center on fighting pandemic and rebuilding post-COVID-19 world economy. Well, Prime Minister Modi exhorts you to move ahead with a clear intention, plan and sense of responsibility. Says world has high hopes from India in the 21st century. Well, President, Vice President, Prime Minister and Lok Sabha Speaker to address Conference of All India Presiding Officers on 25th and 26th November in Kevadia in Gujarat. Focus to be on strengthening coordination between legislatures, executive and judiciary for a strong democracy. Parliamentary Committee on Health and Family Welfare submits 4 reports to Rajya Sabha Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu. Reports include first by a House panel on government's handling of COVID-19 pandemic. Finally, Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu urges world community to isolate countries sponsoring terrorism. Presents 21st Lal Bahadur Shastri National Award for Excellence in Philanthropic Work to Sudha Murthy, I beg your pardon. Prime Minister Narendra Modi participated in G20 Riyadh summit virtually on Saturday. The two-day G20 summit is being chaired by Saudi Arabia under theme Realizing the Opportunities of 21st Century for All. This second meeting of G20 leaders in this year. Focus of G20 summit is dealing with pandemic and challenges in post-COVID-19 world order. Leaders are also holding discussions on means to review economy and restore jobs in the wake of coronavirus pandemic. Ways to build an inclusive, sustainable and resilient future is also on the agenda. Well, Prime Minister Modi virtually inaugurated 5 state-of-the-art facilities to mark the 8th convocation of Pandit Deen Dayal Petroleum University at Gandhinagar on Saturday. The Prime Minister observed that due to current pandemic, energy sector is passing through a sea change and will create a huge opportunity for growth, entrepreneurship and employment in Indian energy sector. Here is a report. Delivering the 8th convocation address at Pandit Deen Dayal Petroleum University in Gandhinagar through video conferencing, Prime Minister Narendra Modi appealed to students to transform this sense of responsibility into sense of opportunity. He said that India's young students have the potential to transform the challenges posed by the current pandemic into a great opportunity.
21वीं सदी में दुनिया की आशाएं और अपेक्षाएं भारत से हैं और भारत की आशा और अपेक्षा आपके साथ जुड़ी है। मैं फिर कहता हूं, आपके साथ जुड़ी है। हमें तेज गति से चलना ही होगा, आगे बढ़ना ही होगा। पंडित दीनदयाल उपाध्याय जी ने अंत्योदय का विजन दिया, नेशन फर्स्ट, कि जिन सिद्धांतों को लेकर के वो चले, हमें मिलकर उन्हें और मजबूत करना है। हमारा हर काम राष्ट्र के काम हो, इसी भावना के साथ हमें आगे बढ़ना है।
The Prime Minister said that India is marching ahead with the target to reduce the carbon footprint by 30 to 35%. He added that India is trying to increase the share of natural gas by 4 times to complete the energy requirements of the country.
इस दशक में सिर्फ ऑयल एंड गैस सेक्टर में ही लाखों करोड़ रुपए का निवेश होने वाला है। इसलिए आपके लिए रिसर्च से लेकर मैन्युफैक्चरिंग तक अवसर ही अवसर है। साथियों, आज देश अपने कार्बन फुटप्रिंट की 30 से 35% तक कम करने का लक्ष्य लेकर के आगे बढ़ रहा है।
Prime Minister Modi also said the world has high hopes and expectations from India, and India's hope and expectations are in turn connected with the young students. On the occasion, the Prime Minister also inaugurated a 45 megawatt production of monocrystalline solar photovoltaic panels set up by GEDA at the cost of Rs 17 crore. He also launched a PDPU technology business incubator with a fund of 22 crore. He also inaugurated the sports complex set up by Sports Authority of Gujarat at the cost of 15 crore. The Indo-European Union bilateral project for industrial waste and desalination and a translational research center was also inaugurated by the Prime Minister. Gujarat Chief Minister Vijay Rupani was present on the occasion. Bureau Report, RajyaSabha TV. Well, for the first time in the history of Parliament due to COVID-19 pandemic, 4 reports of the Parliamentary Standing Committee on Health and Family Welfare were presented virtually to Rajya Sabha Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu on Saturday. Chairperson of Committee on Health, Professor Ram Gopal Yadav, submitted report on outbreak of pandemic COVID-19 and its management to Rajya Sabha Chairman. This is first report by any parliamentary committee on the government's handling of COVID-19 pandemic.
Observations contained in 110th report on the functioning of Food Safety and Standards Authority of India. Sir, with your kind permission, I present 122nd report on action taken by government on the recommendations, observations contained in the 120th report on demands for grants of the Ministry of Ayush 2020-21. Sir, with your kind permission, I present 123rd report on the outbreak of pandemic COVID-19 and its management. Sir, with your kind permission, I present 124th report on action taken by government on the recommendations contained in 119th report on demands for grant 2020-21 of the Department of Health Research. सर मैं आपको बहुत बहुत आपके प्रति आभार व्यक्त करता हूं कि आपकी विशेष अनुकंपा से ये रिपोर्ट्स आज एक वर्चुअल मीटिंग के द्वारा पहली बार संसदीय इतिहास में प्रस्तुत की गई। I also seek your permission, sir, for publication of the reports and forwarding them to the respective ministries for further necessary action. Now I hand over these reports to Secretary General Rajya Sabha for records.
थैंक यू सर।
राम गोपाल जी धन्यवाद आपको, आपका समिति के सब सदस्यों को अभिनंदन। आप लोगों ने विस्तार से इन रिपोर्ट्स के बारे में अध्ययन किया और सिफारिश किया, तो सब संबंधित मंत्रालय को हमारा सचिवालय भेज देंगे।
No formal welcome and thanks in the presentation ceremonies, but I would like to make a departure today, and I would like to thank you for giving your precious time and also for agreeing for this is in a way a very historic occasion because for the first time in the history of the Parliament, the report is being presented virtually. So, for having agreed to this and giving your precious time out of your busy schedule, we express our thanks on behalf of the Secretariat and on behalf of this committee. Thank you.
Well, the 80th All India Presiding Officers Conference will be held on November 25th and 26th. This will be held in Kevadia near Narmada Dam close to Statue of Unity in Gujarat. This annual event, also known as Speakers Conference, aims to facilitate a dialogue between the presiding officers of Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha and other legislative bodies across the country. The two-day event would conclude on November 26th, which is celebrated as a Constitution Day. President Kovind will inaugurate the conference and Prime Minister Modi will deliver the valedictory address at the closing ceremony.
इस सम्मेलन का विषय हमने सशक्त लोकतंत्र हेतु विधायिकी का, कार्यपालिका, न्यायपालिका का आदर्श समन्वय रखा है और इस सम्मेलन के अंदर हम विभिन्न सत्र आयोजित करेंगे। उन सत्रों के अंदर पीठासीन अधिकारी अपने अपने विचार व्यक्त करेंगे, अनुभव साझा करेंगे और जिस जिस विधानसभा विधान परिषद ने नवाचार किया है उनके अनुभवों को भी साझा करेंगे और किस तरीके से विधायिका, कार्यपालिका, न्यायपालिका तीनों संविधान के अंग परस्पर सहयोग, सामंजस्य और बेहतर सामंजस्य करके हम किस तरीके से लोकतंत्र को सशक्त और मजबूत बना सकते हैं, देश के आम जन को राहत देते हुए किस तरीके से नई भूमिका निभा सकते हैं। पहला सत्र 25 नवंबर से शुरू होगा। महामहिम राष्ट्रपति महोदय द्वारा इस सत्र का उद्घाटन होगा क्योंकि महामहिम लोकसभा, राज्यसभा के हमारे मुखिया होते हैं और लोकतंत्र के अंदर एक संरक्षक की भूमिका उनकी रहती है। इसलिए महामहिम राष्ट्रपति जी इस सम्मेलन का उद्घाटन करना हमारे लिए गौरवमयी है। माननीय उपराष्ट्रपति जी भी इस सम्मेलन में उपस्थित रहेंगे। वह भी हमारे लोकतंत्र का एक महत्वपूर्ण विधायी कार्य के राज्यसभा के सभापति भी हैं। इस नाते उनका भी मार्गदर्शन हमें मिलेगा। 25 तारीख को ही राज्य के मुख्यमंत्री जी उपस्थित रहेंगे और सभी राज्यों के पीठासीन अधिकारियों को हमने इसमें आमंत्रित किया है।
Well, moving on, Home Minister Amit Shah on Saturday laid the foundation stone for several infrastructure projects worth 67,000 crore rupee in Chennai. Besides, he also dedicated rupees 380 crore fifth reservoir to cater to the city's drinking water supply. The projects for which Amit Shah laid the foundation stone included 61,843 crore phase 2 of Chennai Metro Rail, elevated highway in Coimbatore at estimated rupees 1,620 crore, a barrage across River Kaveri in Karur districts and IOCL projects worth rupees 3,000 crore. Speaking at the event, Home Minister said the country had rallied behind Prime Minister Modi to fight against COVID-19 pandemic and it was doing better than even developed countries over the handling of the contagion.
पूरी दुनिया में भारत विकसित देशों से भी बहुत अच्छे तरीके से कोविड-19 का सामना कर पाया है। मोदी जी के करिश्माई नेतृत्व ने कोविड-19 के खिलाफ लड़ाई को एक नए आयाम दिए और परिणाम लक्षी लड़ाई लड़कर आज हम बहुत अच्छी स्थिति में हैं।
Well, referring to Nagrota encounter, Amit Shah said all borders of country are secure under Prime Minister Modi's leadership.
पड़ोस के देश से भेजे गए 4 आतंकवादी बहुत बड़ी घटना को अंजाम देना चाहते थे। उनको पकड़ लिया गया, रास्ते में रोका गया और चारों के चारों बहुत बड़े असले के साथ, बहुत हथियारों के साथ एनकाउंटर में मारे गए। मोदी जी के नेतृत्व में सुरक्षा बलों का जो हौसला मजबूत हुआ है, मैं आज उन सभी सुरक्षा बलों के जवानों का अभिनंदन करना चाहता हूं जिन्होंने अपनी जान की बाजी लगाकर देश को सुरक्षित किया है।
Well, Vice President Venkaiah Naidu has called upon world community to come together to isolate nations that sponsor terror. He also appealed to United Nations to adopt India's long-pending proposal of comprehensive convention on the international terrorism. He also emphasized need for reforms in UN to enable a more inclusive world order. Well, virtually addressing Lal Bahadur Shastri Award for Excellence ceremony, Vice President called for collective efforts to eliminate corruption, poverty, inequalities, social and gender discrimination. He also urged citizens to help the needy in the wake of the pandemic. The 21st Lal Bahadur Shastri National Award for Excellence in Philanthropic Work was awarded to well-known philanthropist and prolific writer Sudha Murthy. Complimenting her, Vice President Naidu said she inspires people by her exemplary service.
His famous salutation in honor of our farmers and Jawans, Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan, has been reverberating across the nation ever since it was coined. Another visionary statesman, the former Prime Minister Sri Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji, added Jai Vigyan to underline the importance of science in improving the quality of life.
Well, that's it in this first segment of news. Don't go anywhere away. Time for a short break. More on the other side.
Watch The Big Picture with me, Frank Rausen Pereira, at 9:30 p.m.
Defeat coronavirus. Let us always remember, wear a mask. Wash hands. Follow physical distancing. Together, we'll succeed. Together, we'll win against COVID-19. Welcome back. You're watching News Tonight on Rajya TV. Now let's have a look at the COVID-19 situation in the country.
Fresh coronavirus cases in the country rose to 46,232 in the last 24 hours. India also reported 564 deaths in the same period. The number of active cases remained below 5 lakh for the 11th consecutive day, with 4.39 lakh cases comprising 4.86% of the total caseload. India registered 49,715 new recoveries in the last 24 hours, taking the total recovered cases to 84.78 lakh. The recovery rate has improved to 93.67%. Total cases rose to 90.50 lakh, while the death toll stands at 1,32,726. India tested 10.66 lakh samples in the last 24 hours, which increased total cumulative tests to over 13 crore. The last 1 crore tests were conducted in a span of just 10 days. Delhi continued to record the highest number of daily COVID cases in India at 6,608, followed by Kerala with almost 6,000 new cases. Maharashtra reported over 5,600 deaths, while West Bengal and Haryana reported over 3,000 deaths. These states also logged the highest COVID-linked deaths in the past 24 hours. While Maharashtra reported 155 deaths, Delhi also saw a 3-figure fatality count of 118. West Bengal reported 50 deaths. Amid rising cases, several states have reintroduced night curfew in some districts. While Rajasthan reimposed restrictions under Section 144, Gujarat government imposed night curfew in Surat, Vadodara and Rajkot from Saturday. Night curfew in Madhya Pradesh's 5 cities of Bhopal, Gwalior, Vidisha, Ratlam and Indore has been ordered. Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Friday held a review meeting on India's vaccination strategy for COVID-19. He reviewed prioritization of population groups, reaching out to healthcare workers, cold chain infrastructure augmentation and tech platform for vaccine rollout. The Prime Minister directed that a time-bound plan be laid out for speedy regulatory clearances and timely procurement for early rollout of the vaccination drive when a vaccine becomes available. Bureau Report, Rajya TV.
Well, India on Saturday summoned Pakistan's charge d'affaires Aftab Hassan Khan and launched a strong protest over attack attempt over Indian security forces in Jammu and Kashmir. The Ministry of External Affairs officials who summoned Pakistan diplomats said Pakistan must desist from supporting and harboring terrorists to operate on Pakistan's soil. The Pakistan charge d'affaires was told to dismantle terror infrastructure. Pakistan was also told not to allow terrorists to use Pakistani territory for attack against any other country. The Pakistani official was told that Indian government is firmly committed to take all necessary measures to safeguard its international security in the fight against terrorism. Well, the summon came in the wake of Nagrota encounter on the 19th November in which 4 terrorists belonging to Pakistan-based terrorist organization Jaish-e-Mohammed were killed in gun battle with security forces. Intelligence inputs have revealed that terrorists were planning something big to disrupt District Development Council polls in Jammu and Kashmir. Well, nominations for the 7th phase of District Development Council election in Jammu and Kashmir began on Saturday with the issuance of notification. Today was also the last day for withdrawal of candidature for 3rd phase. Scrutiny of nominations for 4th phase was also held today. This will be the first major electoral exercise in the Union territory since the abrogation of Article 370 in August last year. The elections to 20 District Development Council will be held in 8 phases. The first phase will be held on 28th of November and the last phase of polling will take place on December 19th and the counting of votes will take place on December 22nd. By-polls to vacant panchayat and municipal seats will also be held simultaneously, while the elections to DDC and panchayat by-poll will be through ballot. By-elections to municipal seats will be conducted through electronic voting machines. And the voting will be held for 150 Greater Hyderabad Municipal Corporations divisions on 1st December. The results will be declared on 4th December. The polling time has been extended by 1 hour due to COVID-19 pandemic. Many parties have chosen ballot papers over EVM in view of ongoing litigations and Supreme Court orders. Polling will be held from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. instead of earlier 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. And Friday was the last day to file nominations that were scrutinized on Saturday. Candidates can withdraw nominations before 3 p.m. on 22nd November. In case of repoll, voting will be held on 3rd December. Votes will be counted on 4th December and results will be declared the same day. Well, that's it in this bulletin. But before we leave, our appeal to the viewers to stay safe from COVID-19 pandemic. Wear face masks, wash hands and face regularly and maintain physical distancing while stepping outside. Remember, these simple precautions are all that it takes to defeat the pandemic. Thank you. Stay safe. Good night.
Watch the big picture with me, Frank Pereira.